Hi everyone, Pam Gregory, astrologer. I'm going to be speaking to you today about the second half of August and in particular the full moon that we have coming up on the 29th at 6:06 of Pisces. This is exact at 11:35 AM Pacific and 7:35 PM UK time. Now this is the first of 3 supermoons that we have this year, and a supermoon means that the moon is at perigee, the moon is at one of its closest points to the Earth, so it exerts a much stronger gravitational and electromagnetic pull on the tides and the Earth's tectonic plates. But it also exerts a bigger pull on our consciousness too. So sensitive people can feel this very strongly. They often get downloads of information at the time of the supermoon. And at full moons generally, our feelings tend to run quite high. This is going to be more the case because it's a supermoon, it's going to be more the case because it's a water sign, it's going to be more the case because it is the most sensitive water sign, which is Pisces. So you may feel much more tuned in, we may be psychically more sensitive, we may be physically more sensitive to foods and that sort of thing. It's a real refinement process which happens with Pisces when we have these strong aspects with Neptune too. Because at the full moon, the moon in Pisces is actually conjunct Neptune. Now Neptune rules Pisces, so hence that hypersentient quality which may come in strongly. And Neptune also dissolves boundaries. So it can dissolve boundaries to enable us to get information from a higher source more easily, or it can dissolve boundaries between ourselves and other people, so it'll be easier to feel a greater sense of empathy or compassion with other people. There'll be great sensitivity to suffering at this time, I think, any suffering we see in the world. And at a full moon, the sun and moon are always opposite each other. So we have the moon and Neptune in Pisces opposing the sun in Virgo together with Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is about the search for meaning. It is a very expansive, reaching out energy. And when it's conjunct the sun, as it is here, it can really expand our heart energy. The sun is very connected to our heart energy because it rules Leo. So there's been quite a strong theme of this of late. We had the new moon in Leo and heart energy was very much part of it there. So it can bring in a generosity of spirit. And this living from open heart energy, I think, will become an enormously important part of the new paradigm that we're moving towards. Also, Neptune is the search for oneness. It's the search for connection back to source. It's the search for unconditional love. So when Jupiter and Neptune are in aspect, it brings in a kind of yearning. There's a mysticism, there's a spiritual searching coming in, there's a yearning to move to a more perfect reality. It can be very idealistic, and it can feel like a big bubble, if you like, because Jupiter enables us to see new possibilities, and Neptune will enable us to envision those possibilities too. It may come through in our dreams as well, because Neptune has strong connections to dreams. So try and keep a dream journal at this time and ask a question of your dreams, which I do every night as you're falling asleep. Anything you want clarification on, ask a question. You may well get it in your dreams. So, this is a really beautiful, mystical time at this full moon, supermoon. So keep a dream journal and see where that leads you in terms of information you're receiving. Jupiter and Neptune in aspect also have a philanthropic, a very altruistic side. So particularly if you have anything round about 3 to 8 degrees of the mutables, you may really be feeling this full moon and want to do something charitable, want to do something humanitarian, want to do something to help the world in some way. There'll be a strong pull to do that. And of course, because Jupiter has now moved from Leo into Virgo, which it did on the 11th of August, that's going to be quite a long-running theme because it stays in that sign until next September. And this is very much about being of spiritual service to other people, being of practical service. It has great humility. So it's about, I'm not just here to make a living, I'm here to make a difference. And we lose some of the, maybe some of the pride of Leo and just become much more inward, wanting to serve the world in some way. And this full moon really feeds into that theme very strongly. Another lovely aspect to this full moon, because it's a very creative full moon, as I mentioned, is we have a Mars-Venus conjunction. Now this occurs at 13 and 15 degrees respectively of Leo. It's actually exact on the 31st of August. But there's a flair, there's use of strong colour, beautiful creativity comes in with that. And if you have anything particularly round about 13 to 15 degrees of Leo in your chart, this Mars-Venus conjunction could actually spark a new romance. It's got a very romantic side too. If you don't know where this falls in your chart, it's very easy to obtain a free birth chart online. You just Google search free birth chart and you can get your birth chart, and then you'll know exactly where this falls for you. So this full moon, supermoon, has a really soaring, inspirational quality. It can enable us to see future visions, future possibilities, to live with a big heart, to live creatively, to be very sensitive to other people and really want to care for them and care for the world in a bigger way. So it has some wonderful qualities that it's bringing through. The other very good side of this full moon is that the Jupiter-Neptune idealism can often be like a big bubble. It can be very ungrounded, but luckily Jupiter is square to Saturn. Now it's an out of sign square, but it's still a square. So Saturn will help to ground and anchor and make real whatever visions and possibilities that develop under the light of this full moon. And full moons are always cycles of culmination or completion. They're often the result of work that we've put in, effort we've put in. So just see where this 6 degrees of Pisces falls in your chart, because whichever area of life in which it falls, that will give you much more meaning in your life. And if it actually falls within a few degrees of a planet or an angle, that gives even more meaning to your life. So once you've got your free birth chart, if you want to check out my 2-part video series, you can just click on the link above or the same link appearing below in the description, and you can get that 2-part video series, which you can refer to forever for any aspect you ever want to look at, which will give much more meaning to all the updates I do here, but much more meaning, importantly, to your own life and your own patterns, and you start to watch your own patterns unfold, and it's very enriching for you. It enables you to live more deeply with a greater sense of purpose. Now we have a very powerful month coming up in September. We have 2 transformative eclipses that I'll be talking about in the next video. But in the meantime, enjoy this big, beautiful full moon, supermoon in Pisces. And if you'd like any more information about my book, my audiobook, or my free monthly newsletter, just check out my website, pamgregory.com, or www.thenextstep.uk.com. And thanks for listening.